Hello everyone, Matt Nelson. Hope you're doing well. Tuesday, October 25th. Welcome to our second of 14 blog posts covering the 14 Marine Corps leadership traits. This week we're going to be talking about the trait of knowledge. I'm going to try something a little different this week. I have some notes here on my other monitor so that I stay on point and stay on task when I'm describing this information to you. So again, each week we're going to define the trait. So what is it? We're going to talk about why is it important? What is the significance of the trait to being a leader? And then what are some ways that we can develop this trait within ourselves? So let's get started. This week we're going to be talking about knowledge. Knowledge is the understanding of a science or an art. It is the range of one's information, including professional knowledge and understanding of your people. Your knowledge should not be limited to professional subjects. A general fund of information will make you more valuable to your organization. Okay, so why is that important? Why is having knowledge important to being a leader? The Marine Corps book that I use here that talks about leadership describes it, I think, really well as to why is it important. It says, nothing attracts confidence and respect more quickly than demonstrated knowledge. Knowledge both of your job and your men. Okay, so nothing attracts confidence and respect more quickly than demonstrated knowledge both of your job and your people. Okay, so that's why it's important. You know, no other trait can bring people on board and to look at you as a leader more quickly than understanding what you're doing and understanding the needs and desires and wants and all the things that your people are required to be successful. So we ask, why is it significant and how does it apply to business? Okay, well, in the business of war fighting, okay, it is a business, the Marine Corps. You know, lack of knowledge cannot be concealed. You can't. It says you cannot bluff your people. Okay, so you know we live and operate in such tight circumstances in the Marine Corps. It's impossible to not know your job or to not figure out that someone lacks the knowledge. So it's really, again, impractical in the Marine Corps to not have knowledge of what you're supposed to be doing. But let me apply this to the civilian marketplace. What I write in my post here is it says the number one thing as I see it to seeking knowledge is starting with the end. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So we take a product like life insurance, right? So the product life insurance in of itself is, in my opinion, neither good nor bad. It's a neutral product, okay? It's really having knowledge of the individual situation because that's what's going to determine whether the product is a good fit or not a good fit for that individual. So it's really starting with the end first. And so let me give you another example. So when you look at most salespeople, they'll typically only share the knowledge that's important for you to make the decision to buy their product. Okay, so they're not giving you all of the knowledge around the situation. So I'm sure we've all experienced that. So it's really understanding and having a dialogue with someone. It's really important to understand where they're trying to bring you as the consumer. So in our practice, we really want to provide protection for people's financial well-being. So at the end of the day, that's where we're going to start our conversation saying, listen, we have some fundamental best practices about offering you products to fit what you're trying to do to protect your financial well-being. Okay, so we don't lead with the information that's going to get them to make a decision. Oh, hey, by the way, I'm going to save you 30%. We don't lead with that because we don't think that that is the most important piece when making a decision surrounding your financial well-being. So it's really starting with the end in mind, knowing where that conversation is going to be headed, so that people can really demonstrate their understanding of the situation and the knowledge they have surrounding the conversation. So hopefully that makes sense as to why is it important. So now let's get into the fun part as I have listed here on the bottom of the article. There's 8 suggestions that we have to develop your knowledge. Okay, the first one is an awareness that it is important. Again, this is something that we have in all 14 leadership traits. It's simply just being aware that it is important and knowing what it means. The second thing is to keep a professional file and a small library. So, you know, keep on hand some really great books that you think are absolutely foundational to what you do and the areas that you're talking about and the areas you're trying to grow your knowledge. You know, as a side note to that, I think the internet is a great resource, but we also want to utilize some of the things like from our local library and some of the things that have been printed off, because a lot of times what we see is the internet can be a reactionary tool, and unless you know how to really seek out that information properly, it can be a challenge. The third thing we have is study manuals. To study manuals and other professional literature such as past lawsuits, claims, and rulings. So that's unique to my business. So I spend a lot of time looking at what has happened in the past. What are some claims that we see regularly? What are lawsuits, and what are their findings? What are the decisions in the lawsuits and the rulings? And so as I go about talking with clients, as we uncover certain situations in their lives, we can apply that knowledge to those. The fourth thing is, this is pretty self-explanatory, and this is about getting outside of your professional knowledge base, but it's to read the daily newspaper and weekly magazines and try to evaluate current news impartially and correctly. So we want to be impartial while we're evaluating the information, and we're taking information from a variety of different places. The fifth thing is to take part in serious conversation with your contemporaries on professional subjects. So one of the things that I like to do with other agents that I meet is to ask them, what are you doing to help consumers understand their risk tolerance? What are you doing to help them understand the choices they have? Because I've met agents, and this is huge for old-time agents that have been in the business for 20, 30, 40 years, to say, how do you help your client understand the situation better, to help them make better decisions about their own protection? Because all too often you'll get people that will give here's your A, B, and C option, but they give no context around what those situations mean to people. So engage with other people in your professional area of expertise. The sixth thing we can do is to make a point of discussing training and consumer situations with those of wider experience. Okay, get a mentor. Get a mentor in your life. You're gonna vastly expand your knowledge base by working and to listening and to asking questions to someone that has been there before you. The seventh thing is to be alert to gain information by observing and listening. So if you want to grow your knowledge base, be alert to observing and listening to the world around you and to the conversations going around you, whether it's at your business, at your faith organization, in your community, in your group of friends. Make sure you're aware and you're listening to what's going on, and be impartial to those conversations, or to what you hear. The last thing I had here was to closely observe the actions of other leaders who are successful. So if you want to grow your knowledge and to become a better leader, watch, learn, and look at those people that have seen success in other leadership positions before. So that's a pretty simple thing to do. Seek that out. So I hope you were able to get something out of this blog post. To stay up to date, go to my website, www.bettercallmattllc.com. On the first page there, go ahead and sign up for my blog, and I'll send you the 14 leadership traits along with the 11 leadership principles as defined by the United States Marine Corps. Hopefully you can apply these things to your everyday life, whether it's to yourself, your family, your business, or your community. So hope you guys have a great day out there, and I hope you stay safe. Thank you so much.